Hi guys, welcome back. So, where we left off, part 3, literary analysis of the film. So this is where you're really getting into this main part of the project. So the literary element that you've chosen, let's continue with the example of the climax of the story. So this is how, reiterate again, how the climax is shown in your short that was assigned to you. Explanation of how and why the literary element is used in the film to influence the theme. So going back to the theme that you said the video showed, whether it was love, war, competition, whatever, what have you. How does that theme get influenced by the literary element you chose? So let's say that the theme of the short that you were assigned is love. And then the literary element that you've chosen is the climax of the story. So how and why does the climax of the story influence the theme? Okay, so if the climax of the story is that the two lovers finally get together, they kiss or they hold hands or something like that, then the literary element, the climax of that story, influences the theme of love because it's an action of love. It shows love. Okay? Even more specifically, a kiss would show romantic love, while other forms of love, like familiar love, could be shown in different ways. So the theme could still be love, but it could be shown in different ways through different characters. Okay? So how and why? So give an example of the climax, say, hey, they kissed, this is what happened, and then why it influences the theme. Why is the theme that you said this short is about, or has, how is the climax of the story, or the exposition, or the following action, how does that influence the theme? Alright, part 4. This is the biggest part, and that's why it has multiple steps towards it. This is, again, why this is due on Tuesday, so you have plenty of time. So do multiple parts a day, maybe part 1 and part 2 one day, part 2 and part 3, or part 2 one day, and then part 3 the next, and then do this final part the day before it's due, and then maybe take the last day, the day that it's due, to edit before you turn it in. Okay? So you're creating a literary analysis paragraph. You're not doing a whole paper, you're just doing a paragraph just so that you can practice the idea of this when you do your short story. And it's in a fun way because you get to watch all these fun Pixar shorts. I rewatched all of them while I was making this assignment and checking that all the links work, rather, not making this assignment. Mrs. Imlay made this assignment. She's awesome. So props to her. But when I was making sure all the links worked, I rewatched all the videos. Some of these shorts came out when I was a youngin' myself. So it was really nostalgic to watch all these. Anyways, going back to part 4, writing a paragraph that explains how the literary element you have chosen, so the climax of the story, the exposition, etc., helps the audience to understand the theme. So the theme that you said was reflected in your Pixar short, whether it's love, war, competition, adventure, what have you have been analyzing in class. So over the last 3 parts, you're writing a paper, and this is going to break it down. So first, which is really good, and you can reference back to this when you go in to writing your paper as well, because this is good practice of what your steps should be when writing a literary analysis, even if it's a short one like this. So write a thesis statement. Your thesis should include your literary element and how it influences the theme of your Pixar short. So you've already been collecting examples, you've already been analyzing the theme and the literary element. Now just put it into words, into a sentence, into a thesis statement. So a template. So this is an example of how you should do this. Type the work you've been analyzing. So in this short, so give the title of your short, created by, insert the name here. So you could do Pixar, I think they actually have, when you're in the video, it says written by or created by so-and-so, so one of the Pixar illustrators or whatnot, so put their name there. The literary comma, the literary element, so pick the climax of the story, for example, helps the audience better understand what the theme of the piece. So the theme that you talked about before, whether it's love, war, whatever, put that there. So this sentence is already created for you. Now just in this box, use the exact sentence, but insert your parts that you've already been working on in the past parts, okay? So organize your evidence. So look at the left side chart from part 3 to identify specific parts of the film to illustrate the literary element in your film. Pick 2 to 3 parts of the film that are best examples of how the literary element in your film helps the reader to understand the theme. Okay, so evidence. Back it up. What scenes? Give examples. Obviously, these are shorts, so the examples are going to be smaller, but you'll still have those examples. You'll still have those short and sweet little bits, 2 to 3 parts of the film that help explain or best example of how the literary element of your choosing helps the reader, or the watcher rather, in this case, understand the theme of the film, okay? Step 3, analyze your evidence. Use the right side of your chart to analyze how the specific scenes from the movie help to prove your theme you have chosen. So analyze how evidence 1 proves your thesis statement, how evidence 2 proves your thesis statement, and how evidence 3 proves your thesis statement. So you've already been collecting this evidence through the entire part of this assignment. So now analyze it even deeper in using your evidence specifically. So kind of go back not only to the Kobe Bryant example that I showed you, but also what you've already been doing in this assignment. Analyze how evident this little part of the scene proves the thesis statement. 2 and 3. Okay? Then step 4, write a summarizing sentence for your conclusion. Answer the so what question here. The so what. So what? Answering your thesis. So, which is pretty much reiterating your thesis and summarizing the points that you made. A lot of you have done this and have seen examples of this if you were doing the Tempest essay before. So those of you who had me for the Tempest essay, I broke up what you should be doing for your conclusion. You only have to do really 1 sentence here, but if you want to do a few sentences, if you need a few sentences, go right ahead. But this is so what? It's saying, so what is your point? What is the point that you were really trying to make in this essay, or this little short paragraph in this case? And then step 5, put it all together and add transitions to make it into a paragraph. These are good transitions to use to include build on your evidence, similarly, furthermore, additionally, likewise, also, in addition to, next. Good transitions to use in your analysis, as a result, for that reason, in effect, consequently. Good transitions to use in your conclusion are not there, but you can just say, in conclusion, or therefore, or something like that, okay? Don't know why that part isn't in there. Weird. Anyway, so that last part, you're putting all these parts together, steps 1 through 4, putting it all together, adding transitions, making it into complete sentences, and creating that paragraph, okay? So that should give you a good-sized paragraph, maybe even 2 paragraphs, just analyzing, using all the things that you have done throughout this entire assignment and putting it into grammatically correct sentences and forming those sentences into a paragraph, all right? So this is a shorter version of a literary analysis. It gives you a fun way to practice it, and we will get on better how to analyze literary pieces with actual literature rather than videos starting, I want to say tomorrow? No, not tomorrow. Starting next week. Pretty much starting next week. And we're going to get into analyzing text together. I'll be using the hovercam in these recordings, and I'll break down how you will be analyzing your text and how you should be annotating them, which you should have already been doing annotating, I think, by then. I think you should have been doing annotating in 10th grade. So I'll review how to annotate things and how you should analyze literature. We'll do a quick read through for the first time, and then we'll go into rereading things and annotating things, and it's going to be great. So you'll know exactly what to do when you get to your short story for your final assessment for this unit, okay? So this is a nice little intro for it. It's fun. You get to watch Pixar short films. Again, the links are on this PowerPoint that I showed you before, which you should all have access to. If for any reason you don't have access, which I think you should, because I think I shared it the correct way, let me know, email me, and I will fix that. And here are your assignment sheets, so you can bring that up. And it says last names beginning with A or B, then the title, last names beginning C through E for the birds, last names beginning with F through L is lifted, last names beginning with M is La Luna, last names beginning with N through P is Jerry's Game, one of my favorites. Last names beginning with Q is Tin Toy. It says Tin Toy, but it's actually partly cloudy. Again, don't know why that is, but another favorite of mine. Last names beginning with R or S is Presto. Last names beginning with T or U is Doug's Special Mission. Last names beginning with V or W is Knick-Knack. And last names beginning with X through Z is Lost and Found. Again, those links are on that PowerPoint, so go through those. Find the one that you were assigned by your last name, and finish the assignment, which is due on Tuesday. If you have any questions, of course, email me. And if you really are having trouble, email me to set up a video conference or whatnot, and we can set up a conference where I can walk you through step by step with the questions that may pop into your head that you don't think maybe translates well through email. But first step is always email me first, okay? So that is what's due. Introduce yourself is Friday. That's a simpler activity. I just want to get to know you. And then continue start on your activity for your Pixar shorts, which is the first step is finding which Pixar film you're assigned, and then watching them, and then going through the steps of the activity. Please break it down correctly. Don't try to do this all in one sitting right before the due date on Tuesday. It will not work out well for you. Spread it out. You guys are at home. Use your time wisely. Take your 25 to 30 minutes on this course per day and work on each of the parts and break them down. So it's not due till Tuesday. I've given you plenty of time starting today to start these activities. Obviously, I would suggest you get this introduce yourself activity done really quickly. Turn it in right now. It's due on Friday, but if you get it done right away, you can start right on to your Pixar short. But remember, this one is due this Friday, so it's due before the Pixar analysis. So you want to get that done first. Again, any questions? Email me. Have a good day.